Alright, basically this is my experience with Aladdin. And, you know, I wanted to get into the idea of like, hey, you know what? What even is this game? For anybody that wants to know, like, what is Aladdin for the Super Nintendo? Well, I'm glad you asked. Why did I even get into this game? Why does this game even exist? What's up, Owen? Welcome to the channel. The reason I got into Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, before I actually talk about my experience with the game so far, well, not so far, because I actually did beat the game. How did it splash on me? How did my tea... I got tea a little bit, because my throat, like I said, was hurting in the last video. I wonder why. What do you like, Super Mario Bros. Wii or Super Mario Bros. DS? I love them both. Just decided to finish my tea. But anyways, as I was saying, the reason I got into this game was because I think one day I was very curious about what Super Nintendo games or Sega Genesis or whatever I could just pick up, right? Because, you know, it's... Excuse me. What is even the right word for it? Not every game is going to be about like a funny, cutesy, platforming character, right? And I was curious because, you know, if you guys remember when I played Pinocchio, my experience with Pinocchio for the Super Nintendo, I said, you know what, I want to get into more Disney, but I want to play more Disney games, you know, instead of watching the movies, I want to play a little bit more Disney games since, you know, other than Kingdom Hearts, you know, I haven't really done anything Aladdin related. So, why not change that? And I decided to play Aladdin for the Super Nintendo. And wow. I have, and I'm going to show you guys the footage that I have for this. But, well, not my footage, but I'm going to show you a random gameplay, right? And I want to show you how the level design is, because I'm also going to play Aladdin again for the Sega Genesis, because there's two different versions of this game, and I just want you guys to look at the gameplay. So, what makes Aladdin Super Nintendo so goddamn great, and the reason why I have it muted is because I'd rather just have it muted right now, is the way you platform with Aladdin in this game. This game is very different type of platforming. Not only you're jumping off enemy heads like you're a damn Mario character, but instead of killing them, you actually just bounce off their heads like a goofy cartoon. But you also can glide, you can also fucking reach one-ups, and I don't know, to me, this game's platforming-esque gameplay of bouncing on everything and jumping on people's heads or enemy heads or swinging from poles and different little things on the walls and shit. I think that is literally what makes Aladdin Super Nintendo so interesting. See, the Sega Genesis version, just to briefly sum that game up, a lot of people liked Aladdin's Sega Genesis for its combat, but people who played Aladdin for the Super Nintendo love it for its jumpy, bouncy level design that you can make it, like just by running and jumping on enemies and bouncing off their heads to get rid of the enemies and stuff, and also bouncing to collect some jewels, some one-ups, and all that stuff. Like, look at this gameplay, and then here's the music for this level anyway. Oh, welcome, Lord Dracon. It legit feels like I'm playing a cartoon, a walking cartoon and stuff, which is great. I love that shit. But this part always confused the fuck out of me, right? Not the chance time, but the levels themselves. See how I told you it never said you're done with level 1? Well, let me tell you something. Levels in this game kind of work a little bit differently. And what do I mean by levels work a little bit differently? So, for example, some levels have multiple segments to them, I should say. And I remember when I was playing Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, aka NES, Super NES, whatever you want to say. I remember when I was playing it, and I was so confused because I'm so used to how Mario and Sonic work and Mega Man work, right? Because usually when you're done with the level, they'll tell you you're done. You know what I mean? They'll move to another screen and they'll tell you, hey, you did a good job, and then they'll move on and they'll say level 2 or the next. It's the next zone, or it's the next act of a zone if it's Sonic or something like that. But this game doesn't really tell you that when you play. You just kind of, I think you just kind of naturally assume that okay, this is level 2. When in actuality, what you're doing is level 1 segment 2, and then level 1 segment 3, and then level 1 segment 4, and then you move on to stage 2, which might or might not have another segment piece, which that's why I felt like this game was just really weird for, because I couldn't tell is if, what I was playing was level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, like I'm so used to that, level structure, that idea of how a level works, that when I played again Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, it really fucked with my thought process and stuff. And I was like, dude, this kind of getting a little bit ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie to you, not gonna hold. Like, why am I, not done yet? And I think I realized most of the levels in here are put in different segments, but it still has the same level. And you can kind of take it as kind of being like Mega Man, but then again, it's not really, because like you're playing that stage because the same music plays. You know what I mean? The fucking whatever. You move screens. You're moving from screen to screen because Mega Man is very screen-based gameplay. But Aladdin just really threw me off in that regard. But anyways, other than that, like I said, the platforming for Aladdin is swell. But I want to mention, I think, some of the boss fights. I can't remember the first boss fight, other than like Big Dude right here at the end of this stage, where, I think it was Big Dude that comes over. I can't remember, or maybe Big Dude was earlier in this stage. See, I'm not remembering a lot of Aladdin, but anyways, my point still stands, right? You fight a big guy. Can't remember which big guy it was, but you just deal with it, and then you move on to the next stage, and then they talk about more shit. But anyways, this cave level was pretty alright, in my opinion. Just, I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts on it. Plus, I did beat this game like a few weeks back. But the real level that was pissing me off in this, and I'm going to show you guys the level that was really getting on my nerves in Aladdin, truly, was this magma bit. Now, I only say that because of this. So, yeah, I get mad because of an ad. Okay. This, attempting this for the tablet down, because I was actually going to fucking yell at this if I didn't just fucking put the game down immediately and just never to do. Because the magma gets so close, you can't touch any of these little high shits, otherwise that counts as a hit, and you get a game over and die and stuff. That carpet bit was so fucking bad. And that was only stage 3 of the entire game. Like I said, the game is plastered with segments upon segments upon segments upon segments. And also, being in the Genie realm was kind of fun, because the music was fun, and there's a lot of jumping in this. Not even gonna cap, there's so much jumping. By the way, I didn't even know how to use the satchel, so I didn't really get to use the satchel in my gameplay. But I can say this was one of the funnest platformers I have actually played in a long while. That, like, wasn't Mario, Sonic, or something like that related. Like, that just involved, like, a Disney character. Because the Mickey Mouse platformers were kind of, in my opinion, they're not really all that good. Trust me, I played some bad platformers, so I know that the Mickey ones are just okay at best. But yeah, like this game is phenomenal, especially the Genie Realm. I love the Genie Realm stage, but this stage right here, like the later parts of the Genie Realm, really did start getting hard. Do you remember that bit? And yes, I know I'm rewinding a lot. And the sand level was a straight up bastard that you're seeing on the mini screen right there. But I want to show you the final boss of this shit, because I have a story for you guys. This magma level was really pissing me off, or this castle level was pissing me off there too. But when I was going through this level that you guys are seeing in front of you, you know, I got how do I put this? I got like like it was around this level or around the boss that is coming up like Jafar. Like after I beat Jafar and shit, and you fight his giant snake form, right? So during his giant snake boss, which I haven't shown you guys yet, the giant snake. All right, let me show you. Let me just pause on the giant snake. The giant snake here. There was music being played right out my window, and I remember at this time, yeah, there was really loud music being played, and I wasn't even being that loud, but there was really loud music, and I really just wanted to get up and go over to them and throw my fucking chair at whatever the fuck was creating the sound, because they were disturbing my gameplay so fucking much. I really wanted to do something about it, but obviously I knew better not to do anything, of course. But I remember I really wanted to do something, because they kept, every time I did a little or something, the slightest bit of that, they would crank it up. They would crank up the music. And I remember Rene YT, aka Chris, aka my boy, he was with me at the time. I had my headphones on, these white headsets, when I was playing Aladdin. And my man's Chris was even hearing it. It was that loud, you know, to where Chris can hear it through my headphones and stuff clearly. Not like faintly, clearly. He can clearly hear the music. And also Rene was telling me on the side, yo, don't do anything about it, bro. Don't go out and do anything stupid that you're going to regret. And I'm going to be honest, after this boss, because it is the ending of the game, I think, after this boss fight. Because after this, they just ended it. And yeah, the game's over practically after the snake boss. But I remember that snake boss pissing me off so bad. And the music was making it worse. That's why I wanted to go do something about it. To go shut it the fuck up. And plus, you know, the neighbors kind of hate me. We kind of got some thing going on. I'm just kidding. They don't hate us, but they definitely hate a lot of things that we do. Like, for example, when I make, not make my videos, but when I get loud, it can be in video, it can be out of video, whatever. You know, they'll play, like, loud-ass music to fucking tell me. Basically, they're playing music, telling me to keep it down and shit, but they also don't even crank it back down either. They also just keep it up until I just completely stop. And then it even happened yesterday when me and Chris were playing, but, like, it was after me and Chris already cooled the fuck down a little bit, and, like, or a lot, and it wasn't even during the time me and Chris were actually way up there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, maybe they were home by that time or whatever, but it just made no sense to me. But I fucking hate my neighbors. I want to go over and, maybe tell them something sometime. About, hey, you know, I create my videos, so can you shut the fuck up at least? Like, I'm not going to go over there and go, bah, bah, bah. I'm just going to go over there and tell them, you know, this is me. You do me, I do you. We don't, when we respect each other's wishes and we go along the other way. You know what I mean? But anyways, I didn't do anything about it. I just kind of kept playing, kept fucking ignoring it. And which made the boss even harder, because this snake boss already was really damn hard for me. And I know I keep repeating about the snake boss, but that's really like the only, like, in my opinion, I think the only significant boss in this game was the snake boss. We didn't even get to fight Genie Jafar or anything, or, I mean, we did get to fight Base Jafar, which Base Jafar was actually pretty tough. A little bit, but other than Jafar, regular Jafar, and then the snake boss, those are like, I felt like the two only real bosses in Aladdin Super Nintendo. And I don't know if I would ever, like, recommend anybody who wants to play this game. I mean, if you love a 2D platformer that has a lot of bouncy physics, like Aladdin's very jumpy with all his opponent, you know, like jumping on enemy, jumping on chests to open them and stuff, and all that other sort of stuff. If you're interested in that, like how I was when I first started playing Aladdin Super Nintendo, then give this shit a shot. And also give it a shot if you're a fan of Aladdin, because I don't know, Disney's been doing a lot of weird shit as of late. So who knows, maybe one day they'll release a freaking Aladdin live action remake. Or actually, no, they already did that like eons ago. I just can't remember the date or the year that it came out. But they might do another remake so they can keep the IP or something. I don't fucking know. Disney's being weird, but this game is actually pretty good. It's not a bad game for anybody that's wondering. Like, hey, is what's it called, a bad game? Nah, it's not a bad game at all, man. Aladdin's actually a pretty solid video game. If you guys want to go ahead and play it, go play it. I recommend it. But I don't know how expensive Aladdin is for the Super Nintendo. So maybe check it out like on eBay or some other sites that aren't like super expensive to find this game at. Right? Because I don't want y'all like emulating it right out the gate. Because I had to emulate it because I don't have Super Nintendo, and also Nintendo doesn't have it in their online service. So like that's another downfall about Nintendo Switch Online, is that they don't have Aladdin or any of the games I'm wanting to play that are brand new, interested in, to be on the services. But yeah, I definitely recommend you find it in a store or something, but I'm not sure if they're going to have like Aladdin. Like, that's very specific. You go up to the store owner and ask, "Sir, do you have Aladdin for the Super Nintendo?" "Why, yes, we have Aladdin the movie right here." "No, Aladdin Super Nintendo." "What the hell is Aladdin Super Nintendo? Is that like the fourth movie or something?" "No, Aladdin Super Nintendo is a video game based off the first movie, Aladdin." "Oh, yeah, we don't have that." Okay. See, and if after you go to a store or something to try and find it, then it makes sense to, honestly, you know what? I don't think I'd even try to find it online. I think I really would just emulate it. And I say that because I feel like nobody is going to find like Aladdin Super Nintendo at a goddamn retro video game store. I just have a fucking feeling. So maybe emulate it if you really want to experience it. If you are really into platformers and you're really into like the movie Aladdin, or just even a little bit, or even you just like the movie and you want to play a game based off Aladdin, I think this is a great game to play. At least it isn't like that fucking, that typical tie-in video game, because you guys know, like, early 2000s tie-in games were just pieces of fucking junk trying to get a quick buck. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10. But this game is not one of those games, and I'm glad I actually got to play a game about Aladdin, because other than this game, I have little experience with, like, Aladdin, other than, fighting by his side in his world in Kingdom Hearts, and just watching his movies, like, a fucking eon ago. Like, that's really all of the experience I have of Aladdin, other than this game, which, again, it's great that I played this game, and I know my experience is very short-lived, very short. It's 20 minutes long, it's not that long, but there's really not much to say because this game is actually very short. You can beat this within, like, a lot of gameplay videos that you watch, they say you can beat this in, like, 45 minutes. Some people say, like, an hour. But depending on how good you are at the game, it can take you an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe even less with that, right? You know what I mean? If you're, like, for example, if you're really good at, Aladdin, then it might take you just 45 minutes to beat the game, which is a great length for anybody that is looking for, like, more of a shorter experience, because, to be honest with you, I've been looking for way more shorter experience games than these fucking 20-hour, 50-hour long experience games, because those games really piss me off and annoy the fuck out of me most times, because of how much time that you have to put in it just to beat the normal game is kind of ridiculous. So it's like, it's great that this game is 45 minutes for anyone that is interested in wanting to play a shorter platformer that isn't like Mario or Sonic or Donkey Kong or Pac-Man or whatever. You know what I mean? Just pick up Aladdin for the Super Nintendo. But anyways, I think that's it. Leave a like, also comment and subscribe. I know my Aladdin video was nowhere near as long as probably some people were expecting my experience to be, because a lot of these my experience can be like 45 minutes, 2 hours, 14 hours, blah, blah, blah. But nah, man, like I said, the game isn't that long. There's not that many bosses, and all you do is platform. So it's like, well, then Alex, you should have just made a short about Aladdin. I wanted a thumbnail for Aladdin, goddammit. Let me have this thumbnail. Let me do this. Let me do my damn thing. But anyways, later, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Oh, and also, for shorts today, check them out. I'll upload them like around 12 o'clock.